Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Chelsea have picked up 3 points. Finally. Finally, because look, that experience of watching that game was painful, right? If we're being completely honest, especially that first half was just horrific. But we had 15 minutes in that second half where it looked like Chelsea turned on a switch. Yeah, we turned on a switch, and all of a sudden, the energy that we were asking for, the intensity that we were asking for, the movement that we were asking for, because we were way too static, all started to come into fruition, and we managed to get through Sheffield United's block of red and white that we were just struggling to get, not even just like get through a little bit. We were struggling as soon as we'd approached them, we just passed the ball backwards. So chances were very, very, very few in that first half. I don't normally talk about XG, but on the watch long, I was saying both teams have an XG of 0.1. Nothing happened in that first half. It was a waste of time. But second half, 15-minute portion of that second half where Chelsea woke up, all right, and started to move and started to not be so static, and we broke through that massive red and white wall, and we did manage to get that first goal with Cole Palmer. Really, really nice intervention from Sterling on the right-hand side. Cuts it in and Palmer finishes it off. And then later on, not too long after, we managed to upgrade ourselves a little bit, round it all up, get another chance, and we make it 2-0. Jackson at the far post, to tap in because no one was marking him. So that was where I'm glad, right? I'm glad. We've picked up 3 points. We've picked up a win. It's a relief, right? I feel a relief. I feel a sense of, because it's just been so painful. I'm not going to say that this is, this is the turning point. I've done that way too many times this season. I'm not doing it again because I know it's not happening. But a win is a win. It was expected. I would think against Sheffield United, you'd think that a team would be able to get a result against Sheffield United at home. But I have to be honest, with the lineup that we had at the very beginning, I was having all sorts of worry, caution. 4 central defenders started that game in the back line, and the way that we played in the first half just illustrated how that didn't help us. We had Petrovic in goal, who made his debut, who had a good but quiet game, if I'm being honest. So he made a couple of saves, fair play to him. It's a good debut for him. It's a clean sheet. I've got no complaints with Petrovic whatsoever. He wasn't tested enough, because Sheffield United, I think, had a game plan to try and just see out the first half, and then second half, start to try and find the opportunities where they're going to exploit, and it never came. Chelsea were early enough in the second half to kill them off, and after that, I'm sure the entire game plan just changed and went down the drain. They really didn't have, I feel like Sheffield United didn't really have enough quality. I feel like they had a good plan. They didn't execute it well enough. They did defensively, I feel, up until when we scored, but offensively, they didn't test us. They didn't test us at all. And I expected Archer and Mikati, as some people were saying on the watch along, to try and really create and pull off some chances, but they didn't. So overall, despite the flat back four, despite centre-backs all starting in that position, it ended up not that working, but what we had on the pitch managed to get the job done. Ahead, we didn't start Enzo, remember that? And that was a little bit of a concern, having a double pivot that we knew would get overrun, and it did at times. But again, lack of quality, Sheffield United just couldn't do anything or couldn't capitalise. For that reason, the first half was so dead. Even in terms of other games where we've let ourselves go, but it hasn't been dead because we've been receiving an onslaught from the other team. Newcastle, they were all over us. Man United, all over us. Even other games like Brentford, where we lost at home, right? Brentford were potent, and you could see that they were threatening. Sheffield United's done nothing, but we done nothing. So there's 2 teams doing nothing. And that painful first half. But we managed to kill off the game in the second half, and then you start to see some energy in the Chelsea team. You start to see some movement. I don't get why we're so static. And we start to see some movement. we start to see some good positioning, and it starts to click. After going 2-0 up, we brought the tempo down. And this is where I'm like, why? But at the same time, the substitutions that we made in that second half, we managed to bring on Enzo for some minutes. Apparently it seemed like he was dropped. Some other people saying he was rested. We don't quite know, but he's going to be available for Newcastle, that's for sure. One player that everyone wanted to see was Nkunku, and he didn't come on. And I don't understand why. When we're looking at the last 5 minutes, right, and Gusto and Maatsen are having to come on, why? We made the decision not to play them. We all would have loved to see those two play in their rightful positions. They didn't. 3 minutes to go, and we're bringing them on to end the game with 6 defenders on the pitch. And albeit, like I've said, we've won and it's 2-0 happy days. But what's the point? I would have liked to see Nkunku come on and play 10 or 15 minutes. If he's fit, if he's on the bench, if he can play, why not use him? It's important that he actually gets on the pitch and starts to pick up some rhythm. Starts to pick up some, that's the whole point of picking up minutes. It's to get your body going, yeah? Like, he's not going to be... I'm worried now he'll be thrown into a situation against Newcastle. You're starting. He's just come back. You want to ease him in, but let him have some minutes, especially when you're 2-0 up. You've got nothing left to play for. Let Nkunku play. But towards the end, we bring on Gusto and Maatsen for the last 3 minutes or whatever it was. I don't know if that's maybe incentives. Maybe that's to do with wages. Someone in the chat did let me know in the watch along that it could be performance or it could be an appearance-based bonus that they have in their contracts. Who knows? It's possible. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So there's that. That I didn't understand. But apart from that, look, there wasn't really any big standout performances, I'll be honest. I think today's performance, if we're talking about as a performance, it wasn't good. But for the 15 minutes that we did wake up, we got the goals, we got the win, we got 3 points. We're now up to 10th. Happy days. But in those 15 minutes, I'll give the credit and I'll give praise for a couple of the players that stepped up. Sterling, I think, stepped up. Palmer stepped up. Mudrik's game today wasn't a bad game in terms of effort, but his execution was all over the place, man. All over the place. You could probably say the same for Jackson. Jackson is someone where you can see that he's involved, but the execution is horrific, right? Mudryk took that shot that went almost out for a throw, and I'm like, what are you doing? Jackson, I was scared, was offside for our first goal, but he wasn't involved in the play. I almost had like a flipping panic attack on my watch along where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he's offside, and we've bottled the flipping goal because he's offside. But he wasn't involved in the play, so the goal stood. And that's where I mentioned Sterling and Palmer for the move that they made in that goal. Sterling showing that incentive, Palmer getting in a good position in between all of those red and white players, picking up the ball in that position, hitting it into the net, fantastic. And the second goal, where Jackson has the tap in, he gets into a good position there. He's managed to run off his marker. No one's with him. And I think no one's with him because they're probably not expecting the ball to get to him. But again, naivety from Sheffield United. Good ball into the box by Cole Palmer, if I'm not mistaken. And we go 2-0 up. So for those moments, right, fair enough. Caicedo, I feel like going forward was all right today. Defensively, he's just not the guy that you can rely on to close things down or to block enough or to stop runners overrunning him in midfield. So this is why we have to talk about our midfield and who we have available to us, you know, when we're talking about offensive and defensive duties. But aside from that, everyone else, I would say, average. At best. Right? Disasi and Colwell are put in those positions, and I don't blame them. I feel like for what they can offer, they actually did all right. But they should not be playing in those positions whatsoever, man. We should be playing fullbacks in those positions completely. You know what I mean? But we didn't. And we're lucky it's paid off for us, but that was a very risky move by Pochettino. Very risky. Anyway, a win's a win, and we're able to pick ourselves up, at least for now. But we've got Newcastle in midweek, and I'm not letting this faze me. I have gone past many phases this season where, oh, yeah, you know, Chelsea might be back. No. If anything, we have to play much better than we did today if we want to stand a chance against Newcastle, who have picked up a win today, 3-0 at home against Fulham, despite Fulham going down to 10 men, and that definitely did help them. But it means that Newcastle are going to be coming to the bridge with a good mood as well. Much like us, if we've picked up 3 points, they've picked up 3 points. We'll let the games begin in the midweek game where we have that quarterfinal and we see what happens. They've got a point to prove because they've been chucked out of the Champions League. We have a point to prove because it's our only competition that we have a flipping chance in. So let's see what happens. But it definitely needs to be improved in terms of what we saw today, especially the first half. The second half was all right. The first half was just painful. So we can't have that happen, man. We can't have that happen. And there's no excuse for that to happen. Against bottom of the league, Sheffield United, that have clearly not got any execution, there's no excuse to be playing that way. So I'm glad we picked up the win. 3 points are in the bag. Happy days. Good goals. Nice one. Let's move forward. But we also still have to improve. So let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And I'll see all of you tomorrow for a brand new one. So thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a new one. Have a good one, people, in a bit. Take care and peace.